The impact of Roe v. Wade, what a new study says about mental health and the fallout after the Supreme Court's decision. And paving the way, I talked to teen author and advocate Kheris Rogers about using storytelling to empower children everywhere. Welcome to Advocate Today. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist. We begin with a new study that suggests the rollback of abortion rights in America may be impacting women's mental health. Researchers looked at Census Bureau survey responses from women ages 18 to 44 from January through September of last year. The Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in June, which took away the constitutional right to an abortion. In the 3 months after the ruling, women of reproductive age in states that banned or would likely ban abortion were 10% more likely to report mental distress than before. We are continuing our Women's History Month spotlights of those who are paving the way for women and girls everywhere. Author and teen CEO of Flexin' in My Complexion, Kheris Rogers, has a new children's book out now called Shine Bright. It shares the story of how she overcame bullying, colorism, and self-esteem issues as a young girl. Kheris joins me now to talk about the book, providing visibility for others, and more. Kheris, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Well, I'm going to start very simply and ask you to give a little background to your inspiration for making this picture book, Shine Bright.
Well, growing up, I've always been teased for my dark skin complexion. And, growing up as a child, something like that can really take a toll on you. And sometimes some people don't always have a support system like I did. And so I created a clothing line called Flexin' in My Complexion to help me overcome and learn how to love myself and help everyone else. I was like, in addition to that, for my message to get towards children was through a book. And so I know in school kids go through bullying. People are always putting other kids down. And I wanted them to know, like, this is what the real world is like. This is what we're going through. You're going to go through colorism. You're going to go through racism. But this is how you overcome it. You always have to shine bright. And just writing the book, I just thought it was super important to just show kids that you're not alone in these situations, that there's someone else that looks just like you that's experiencing the same thing.
Yeah, it's so important. And, I read, please correct me if it's not true, but your sister helped you out when you were younger and, talking about how you were being bullied and, all that,
Mhm.
tweeted out flexing in my complexion. Is that,
Yeah, she posted a picture of me on Twitter that went viral. Well, she did a few tweets. And the first one that went viral, the hashtag was flexing in her complexion. And I was
yeah,
like, why don't we just like create a clothing line called Flexing in My Complexion
yeah.
and just sold out?
Yeah, what did it mean to you that your big sister was standing up for you in that way? Like, I feel like everyone who ever gets bullied or picked on really needs that, a couple of really good allies. So what did that mean to you that your sister was there for you in that way?
It just feels great, even to know that you have people behind you that are there for you, who are willing to fight for you, who are willing to do anything for you. And so it kind of hurts to know that there's other kids my age that don't have that support system. And that's why I feel like I'm so passionate about what I'm doing and love speaking out about it, because I just want them to know you should always love yourself no matter what. If you have that support system or not, you have to always love yourself inside and out.
Yes, 100%. Would you talk a little bit about give us a little synopsis of Shine Bright, the main character Imani, and what she endures or encounters in the book?
So to break it down a little bit, Imani, she's going to the skate park, and trying to meet new friends and stuff. And the kids are telling her basically that she looks different. And so Imani's trying to figure out like what looks so different about her. Like she has two arms, she got eyes, nose, mouth, legs. What's so different about her? And so she starts to realize that they're talking about her skin.
Mhm.
And so she's like, So she goes home to her sister, and her sister's basically explaining to her how people are afraid of the dark. And so you have to overcome that, you have to shine bright and always hold your head up high. Your crown should never be tilted, and you better go back to that skate park and show them you are that girl, okay? Like,
Yes,
that's just to sum it up a little bit, a
I love
quick
it.
summary.
No, that was perfect. Thank you. And so you've mentioned colorism, and would you share a little bit about why taking that on is so critical? Because people hear about racism, which is obviously huge, but then there's colorism, which isn't talked about quite as much.
Yeah, I feel like people try to make it seem like it doesn't exist sometimes, or even like now there's talks about bullying and colorism. There's a difference between colorism and bullying. And colorism is basically where you're being teased by someone in your own race that may look lighter than you, or yeah, it may look a little lighter than you in the skin tone. And so when we're going through something like that in the black community, I feel like when you're being teased by someone in your own race just based off that you're darker than them or something, it could be a little crazy, because when I went through it, I didn't understand it, because it's like, well, I'm black too, like,
Yeah,
like I didn't think it was an issue that we all come in different shapes, sizes, colors. But
right.
I feel like it's very important for us to speak on colorism, because it is a big thing um, in the black community, period.
Yeah. Well, thank you for talking about that. And I wonder, would you talk a little bit about the process of creating a picture book? Because you've got the story, and then you have to work with someone on getting the pictures the way that it really enhances your words. So, what was that like for you?
So the illustrator Michael wrote, I feel like she did a very great job on trying to
Beautiful.
get our image in our mind out on a book. Like, I feel like we only went through two different designs, and that was really it. And then we just liked the second one more. But I feel like it was such an easy process. I mean, I had no hard times writing the book. It's a children's book. It can't get any harder than that. Like, but it was such an easy process, and I'm excited to do it again. But I wish I knew how to draw, because
Mm.
I know how to draw. No, actually, 'cause that would have been stressful.
That's a lot. Yeah. In your book and your story, you talk a lot about affirmations, which is something that people are using to change the kind of negative self-talk and the negative talk that society has put on so many different kinds of people. Would you talk about the importance of affirmations in your storytelling?
I feel like growing up and experiencing the things that I did and not always loving myself, or loving myself the way that I should have been, it I didn't know how to deal with it. And so my mom actually introduced me to doing affirmations. And every day when you wake up, even if you're feeling the best, if you're not feeling the best, you should always remind yourself who you are,
Mhm.
because you don't need validation from nobody
Yeah.
at all whatsoever. You always have to be secure in yourself before anybody else can love you or you love somebody else. And so when you wake up in the morning, you have to look yourself in the mirror. Well, I say, I'm like, I am beautiful, I am smart, I am special. Whatever I'm feeling that I need to say out loud to myself, I'm going to say it. Or you can even write it down in a journal. But I feel like
Mhm.
affirmations should be the most important thing, first thing you do when you wake up, or when you're done getting dressed, or whatever, whenever you're ready, you got to do it.
You know what? I've been doing them more, but I'm gonna take your advice, and I'm just gonna wake up and have a few ready to go while I'm making
Exactly.
coffee.
You can do it multiple times in a day. It doesn't matter. You just have
Yeah.
to boost yourself up in the morning. I feel like that's a great way to start your day off.
Kheris Rogers, advocate and author of Shine Bright, thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks again to Kheris for sharing her story. She's only 16 years old and incredibly grounded. Her children's book, Shine Bright, is available now. We are continuing our Women's History Spotlight by honoring equal pay advocate Lilly Ledbetter. Lilly Ledbetter filed a lawsuit against her former employer in Goodyear back in 1998 for being paid significantly less than her male counterparts. She lost the decision in 2007, but continued to fight back and got the attention of the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Justice Ginsburg and Ledbetter worked together to enact the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act. It was signed into law by President Obama in 2009. She continues to lead the fight for equal pay at the age of 83. Thank you so much for joining me on this Advocate today. We're advocating for all with our content and coverage. Visit us online or wherever you stream for more interviews and Women's History Month spotlights. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist. I'll see you next time.